When we're talking Egypt, what comes to mind are pharaohs, ancient pyramids, and Cleopatra. But not many people knew that the Egyptian equivalent of the French Napoleon existed 3,000 years ago, in Egypt. When people consider ancient Egypt, they often picture iconic pyramids or perhaps Cleopatra. Yet Thutmose III, reigning circa 1479 to 1425 BCE, stands out as an extraordinary military strategist, frequently compared to Napoleon Bonaparte for his audacious campaigns and empire-building feats. Operating during the New Kingdom's 18th dynasty, Thutmose III inherited a relatively stable kingdom, but transformed it into a sprawling empire extending beyond the Nile's traditional frontiers. He combined rapid and daring maneuvers, disciplined troops, and well-managed logistics to subdue rebellious city-states in Canaan, push deep into Nubia, and even challenge Mitanni near the Euphrates. Contemporary records, especially the carvings in the Temple of Amun at Karnak, document at least 17 major campaigns, testifying to a cunning mind not unlike Napoleon's. This video explores how Thutmose III ascended to power, reformed the Egyptian army, and leveraged innovative tactics to become one of history's most effective conquerors. Thutmose III was born to Pharaoh Thutmose II and a lesser wife named Iset. After Thutmose II's death, his widow and half-sister Hatshepsut took the reins as regent for the young heir. Soon, however, Hatshepsut crowned herself pharaoh outright, relegating Thutmose III to a secondary role. Over 2 decades, she steered Egypt toward prosperity through trade missions, most famously to Punt, monument building, and a largely peaceful policy. Despite standing in Hatshepsut's shadow, Thutmose III spent his youth learning from Egypt's military leaders, acquiring skills in command and discipline. He may have led smaller expeditions or oversaw units of the army. When Hatshepsut died around 1458 BCE, he quickly assumed full powers. Egypt's administrative stability, coupled with Hatshepsut's wealth building, allowed Thutmose III to focus on expansion. Freed from immediate internal conflict, he looked outward, determined to reclaim or expand Egyptian influence that had waned in the Levant and beyond. Upon fully ascending the throne, Thutmose III overhauled the Egyptian army. He grouped chariots, archers, and infantry into cohesive units that could move swiftly. Light, maneuverable chariots, often manned by an archer and a driver, proved crucial in shock tactics. He maintained rigorous training, ensuring forces could march long distances and keep discipline during sudden engagements. Crucial to Thutmose III's success was careful planning. Egyptian records hint at scribes detailing supply routes along the Nile, guaranteeing water and rations were in place before campaigns. They also gathered intel on rebellious city-states, forging alliances with local rulers who agreed to tribute or host Egyptian garrisons. Such methods minimized prolonged sieges and ensured that once an area was pacified, it remained under Egyptian sway. Egyptian armies under Thutmose III typically combined chariot charges with relentless follow-up by spearmen or axe-wielding infantry. As soon as an enemy formation was disrupted, foot soldiers exploited the gaps. This integration of arms, chariots, archers, infantry created a synergy that neighbors often couldn't match. Indeed, this cohesive approach to warfare made the Egyptian military an unstoppable force across deserts, mountain passes, and riverine zones. One of Thutmose III's earliest and most famous campaigns took place around 1457 BCE at Megiddo, in modern-day Israel. A coalition of Levantine city-states, led by the king of Kadesh, resisted Egyptian suzerainty. Thutmose III marched north in a show of force, determined to reassert control. That coalition had entrenched near Megiddo, a fortress commanding key trade routes. To approach Megiddo, Thutmose III faced 3 potential routes. 2 were safer, yet longer. The third, via the narrow Aruna Pass, was risky. Advisors warned the pass could be ambushed. Thutmose III gambled that the enemy wouldn't expect such a daring move. Leading his army in single file through the perilous gorge, he emerged right on the coalition's flank, taking them by surprise. The Levantine forces scrambled to organize, but Egyptian chariots swiftly broke their lines. Though many rebels fled, they ended up trapped within Megiddo's walls. Thutmose III laid siege, eventually forcing a surrender. He gained not only the fortress, but substantial spoils: chariots, weapons, and gold. The triumph at Megiddo reverberated across the region. Canaanite rulers recognized Egyptian might and reaffirmed tributes. Megiddo thus became a defining example of Thutmose III's hallmark strategy: unexpected maneuvers followed by unrelenting pressure, culminating in decisive success. To Egypt's south lay Nubia, modern Sudan, rich in gold deposits. Earlier pharaohs had established garrisons there, but local uprisings persisted. Thutmose III launched fresh expeditions, capturing rebellious Nubian chieftains and integrating the region deeper into Egyptian control. He built or refurbished fortresses along the Nile, ensuring steady gold flow and trade. Thutmose III then looked further afield, advancing Egypt's reach toward the Euphrates River. There, he confronted the Mitanni, a formidable Hurrian kingdom. Though sources are fragmentary, Egyptian reliefs indicate at least one major clash with Mitanni, after which local rulers offered tribute or at least ceased aiding Canaanite rebels. This extended Egyptian influence into modern Syria. By the height of his reign, Thutmose III presided over an empire spanning from Nubia to parts of the Levant and beyond. Tributary states paid gold, copper, fine woods, and livestock. Hostages, princes educated at the Egyptian court, ensured loyalty among vassal city-states. Through such measures, Thutmose's empire boasted not only territory, but also cultural exchange, unifying key economic roots under Egyptian sway. With resources from conquered lands, Thutmose III embarked on ambitious temple expansions. At Karnak, he added grand pylons, statues, and obelisks lauding his victories. Relief scenes portrayed him smiting enemies, reinforcing the notion of a pharaoh divinely favored by Amun. This not only glorified the campaigns, but also cemented a propaganda narrative that linked the pharaoh's conquests to the god's blessings. Inside Egypt, Thutmose III ensured stable governance by appointing military men he trusted to high administrative posts. The priesthood of Amun, too, gained power under his patronage. Meanwhile, Egyptian culture, from language to religious rites, spread into key provincial centers across the empire, though local traditions also persisted under nominal Egyptian oversight. Tribute and trade from subjugated or allied territories enriched the royal treasury. Artistic motifs from foreign lands infused Egyptian crafts, evident in surviving jewelry and temple decorations. Thutmose III thus oversaw not just a militarily strong state, but also a vibrant cultural and economic sphere, bound by the loyalty or fear of subordinate realms. In later years, Thutmose III continued to mount minor campaigns to quell any unrest in Nubia or the Levant. He also undertook voyages to collect tribute or demonstrate Egypt's ongoing strength. Allegedly, he conducted 17 major incursions, a statistic relayed in Karnak inscriptions, each campaign reinforcing the empire's stability. Thutmose III died around 1425 BCE, leaving a formidable realm to his son Amenhotep II. This empire still needed periodic policing, but its foundations, built on disciplined armies, local alliances, and consistent tribute flow, continued well after the pharaoh's passing. Indeed, the new kingdom's high watermark persisted for decades, setting a template for subsequent rulers. At his death, Thutmose III's legacy included not just land acquisition, but also a system of governance that merged strategic outposts, diplomatic marriages, and patronage networks. He became, for posterity, the Napoleon of ancient Egypt, a leader whose bold battlefield gambles and sweeping expansion shaped an era of unrivaled Egyptian power. The analogy between Thutmose III and Napoleon emerged in modern historiography as scholars recognized parallels in their rapid, surprise-based campaigns, organizational prowess, and empire building. Each overcame alliances of enemies by employing swift maneuvers, thorough planning, and psychological dominance. Where Napoleon used artillery and disciplined battalions, Thutmose III wielded chariots and well-trained spearmen. But the underlying mindset of outmaneuvering larger or entrenched foes resonates across millennia. Archaeological finds, be it new stele, palace ruins, or material from fortress towns, continue illuminating aspects of Thutmose III's reign. Debates persist about certain campaign details, especially in Syria or along the Euphrates. Nevertheless, the overarching narrative remains consistent. A talented king harnessed Egypt's resources for a series of military triumphs that, in many respects, changed the political map of the Eastern Mediterranean. Thutmose III's life was a study in transformation. Beginning as a young ruler overshadowed by a powerful stepmother, he seized the reins of a secure, prosperous kingdom and propelled it to unprecedented imperial heights. Through daring military campaigns, most famously at Megiddo, he subdued rebellious neighbors, forged alliances, and refashioned the Egyptian army into an effective force capable of reaching far beyond the Nile Valley. The spoils of war fueled monumental building projects, further binding the empire around the pharaoh's image as both conqueror and God-ordained ruler. Modern parallels with Napoleon highlight Thutmose III's brilliance in tactics, logistics, and empire building, even though their contexts differ drastically. Ultimately, Thutmose III's accomplishments define him as one of ancient history's most triumphant war leaders, a pharaoh whose ambitious vision and strategic ingenuity continue to intrigue scholars and history enthusiasts alike.